We are live. This is not my most professional operation here, but hey, my knees serve as a good balancing device, and it's actually rather ironic because today's talk is going to be about making your own cell phone stand as I sit here balancing two separate phones on my knees because my cell phone stands are not adequate for what I'm trying to do here on the road. So, rather ironic. All right, let's grab TikTok. I'm going to do a quick stream today. We got to make moves. It has been a rather emotional 24 hours. I have faced a lot of adversity, but we will overcome. We will not allow them to. Anyway, we'll be fine. So, all right, let's grab TikTok. Hibby dibby dibby, you don't stop. All right. Let's go STEM for kids. I'm doing 30 minutes here and then I got to roll. Picture me rolling. 3, 2, 1. Good morning, TikTok. It is a beautiful day here in the sunshine state of Florida. I am visiting on vacation, so my schedule has been up and down and all around, but I am very happy to be with you, to be here with you here today. Now, today we are going to talk about something that I think is one of the coolest things we can do for our children, and that is to provide them with STEM activities that allow them to access their critical thinking, to use their discernment, and to solve problems with the materials around them. And then if you're doing it right, you're embedding the lessons that you want your children to know. And that really falls right in alignment with everything we preach here, where you should be following the interest of your children. Yeah, Melissa, I'm on YouTube. You should be following the interest of your children and using that interest to teach them the things that you want them to learn. Well, let's get into the project I released this morning. I just posted a video about it on the Cubs to Bears TikTok channel, and obviously I posted it in the Homeschools Connected private homeschooling community. So today, we are going to challenge our children to design a cell phone stand. Now, this is greatly ironic because I am literally sitting here balancing two separate cell phones on my knees because I don't have the proper equipment to do what I'm trying to do here on vacation. So we're talking about challenging our children to design cell phone stands. Well, I think I need to go in there with my children and maybe we need to design a stand today because this situation is not adequate. But you challenge your children to design cell phone stands. You give them the parameters. The problem you are facing is that we need a cell phone stand. It should be able to hold a cell phone. Can it hold a cell phone in both the upright and landscape positions? So you're giving them a problem and you're giving them the criterion to solve that problem. Then you tell them they can use any materials that you have available. So that can be paper clips, that could be popsicle sticks, that can be rubber bands, that could be milk cartons, that could be cardboard boxes, that can be any materials that you have readily available in your house your children can use in their effort to engineer a cell phone stand. So you go over the process of engineering. You say, we have a problem, right? That's the first thing in engineering is you have to identify a problem. The problem is we need a cell phone stand. The second thing is you have to identify your criterion. What do we want our cell phone stand to be able to do? We want it to be able to hold a cell phone at this weight using the upright and landscape positions. Identify the problem, give them the criterion. Now they can do research and come up with design ideas. So from there, they can research online other things people have done. I actually prefer to have them come up with ideas before they do any research. So give them a piece of paper, have them write out their ideas. Maybe I could take popsicle sticks, maybe I can use marshmallows and toothpicks, and I can make a kind of like a cloud for the phone to sit on. But you want your child to brainstorm ideas and use their critical thinking faculties. And think about everything they're learning here. They're thinking critically. They are learning the process of engineering. And then once they have an idea, you say, okay, now I want you, hey, Foster Bear, I need to get back to you. I want to post the lessons that you made because they're awesome. Foster Bear made some lessons for us. She volunteered her time, and I'm very grateful for that. And I want to get her on the phone, go over everything, and then post them sometime in the next couple of weeks. So you have your child do the engineering, and then you say, okay, now you need to sketch your designs. And here's where the lesson comes in. So you need to sketch your design. So you have your child use graph paper and sketch their design. But you say, if you really want this to be accurate, you should sketch them to scale. You want to talk about how you teach your children math, how you do it in context so that they're actually engaged with what they're doing and they don't ask you, hey, when am I ever going to use this? Why do I have to learn this? Because what we're doing right now. So you teach your children, no, I don't want to stream with you. Why are you asking me if I want to stream with you? I don't want to stream with you. All right, so you ask your children to draw to scale, and you show them what that is. So let's say they have a popsicle stick. You take a ruler, and you measure that popsicle stick, and it's 7 inches. So what you show them is that every box on your graph paper represents 1 inch. So if you want your popsicle stick to be 7 inches, you have to draw it vertically across 7 boxes on your graph paper. And you're teaching your children how to draw their design to scale. So now they've done their research, they've thought critically, they've ran over design ideas, they've drawn their design to scale, and now you have them physically engineer a cell phone stand. And they build up that stand, and then after they build it up, you have them test their design, analyze the results. Did my design do what I thought it would do? Did it hold a cell phone upright? Did it hold a cell phone in landscape? And you are teaching your children critical thinking, discernment, research, design, drawing to scale, and then ultimately executing that design and the basics of engineering. This is how you educate your children in context. This is how you give your children an education which will empower them to use their critical thinking faculties, which will empower them to learn real skills in the real world in a memorable way so that they could carry that with them, throughout the rest of their lives. So I'm going to go back, answer any questions you have. For anyone interested in what we do, you could find us at www.classicallearner.com, Homeschools Connected, and if you use the discount code FREEDOM, you could sign up and it's $10 a month. Now, with that being said, anyway, there are some issues today, so we'll see. And Melissa, you could ban any trolls, like these pathetic losers. Get out of here. No one cares about you, including your mom. All right. Hey, Paige. Good morning. Yeah, no, I'm on YouTube today. I had thought about sending you one in your package. Oh, I mean, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm holding 2 cell phone stands on my legs right now as I cover the topic of making a cell phone stand. So it's apropos, I guess. Did I just say apropos? You never know where these streams are going to go. I know I'm going off the rails when I start saying apropos. Melissa blocked 4 already. Yeah, these trolls, they're a special group. They don't stand for anything. So what they do is they follow around people who do stand for things and they attempt to tear them down. But what I've learned in my life is as you face adversity, it actually strengthens your position and makes you stronger. And in the last 24 hours, I have faced a great deal of adversity. Something I'll talk to you guys about when I'm ready, sometime next week. Maybe on a community-only stream, I'll talk about what has happened in the last 24 hours. But dealing with a great amount of adversity, and what I find is that makes me stronger. And that forced me to make phone calls and talk to people about topics that I never thought I would, and to learn things that I had no idea about. And now I'm in a position where I'm actually probably going to restructure things that will make me a lot stronger and will secure my position a lot better moving forward. So everything's a blessing, even if it seems like it's literally the sky falling and catastrophic. This is what it does. And by the way, this falls right in line with the reason that the last 24 hours hasn't been so catastrophic to me, is because of the connections with moral people that I've made over the last year. And I was able to pick up the phone and call up really good people and say, hey, this is what's going on in my life. And they say, yep, don't worry, we've dealt with stuff like this before, and this is what you have to do, boom, 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 A, B, C, D. And these are the options you can take. This is the path you can take moving forward to protect yourself from this happening. And it has been such a blessing, the connections that I've made, and knowing that I have moral people that I could call up, that I can trust. And the future is so bright. So yeah, I faced a lot of adversity over the last 24 hours. And again, I'll talk more about that in the weeks to come. I think for right now, from a strategic standpoint, it would be best that I don't talk about that, and we'll see what happens, and then we'll talk about it. So anyway, guys, I really just wanted to do a quick stream today. I just wanted to get in front of you guys and talk a little bit about the STEM project of the day. I hope you guys crush with it. I wanted to talk a little bit about what's been happening here, and just know that I have faced a great deal of adversity over the last 24 hours, and that's only strengthened my position. It's going to make us stronger, and we are learning from it. So, anytime you wake up and you're like, oh my God, something happens, you're like, this is terrible, then what you realize is that it's just another test from God. It's just another lesson from God, and God is guiding me through adversity, right? Iron sharpens iron. It's adversity that makes strong men, right? The Great Depression made some of the strongest people this country has ever seen. Adversity forges strength, and we are stronger for it. So, all right, guys, I just wanted to do a quick stream. Nettie in the house, I appreciate you. I'm still on vacation here, and I'll be back to my normal schedule by Monday, because we'll be back in the Carolinas, and that'll be nice. But this has been really nice. I'm at my sister's house right now in Florida, and it's been such a blessing hanging out with my sister and my nieces, my brother-in-law. I spent 5 days up in Orlando for my other brother-in-law's wedding. He got married, and I was with my wife's father and mother-in-law, and that was really cool. And it's been really nice hanging out with family, and it is nice. It's nice. It must be nice. It's been nice being on vacation in Florida since the 12th. This has been going on for a while now, but I am ready to get back to the Carolinas. And of course, as you guys have seen, I never actually stopped working, and I've been very blessed in my life that I could literally work from anywhere, and my work schedule is when I want to work, what I want to work on, where I want to work from, and that's been a blessing, and that's what I try to teach people how to do, and that's what I try to teach your children how to do. And you know, everything is good. Everything is a blessing, and really appreciate all of you. And anyway, so I'm gonna call a stream on that. I just wanted to do a quick one, so I'm gonna go take the children to breakfast, take my wife to breakfast, and you know, I mean, if you're into that, I don't really care for the politics of it. I think that politics are a trap. I think that they want us focused on their politics. Like, if you want political power and political influence, I wouldn't worry about Trump, right? Like, or DeSantis or Joe Biden or whatever your cup of tea is. What I would worry about is your sheriff. You want to talk about power? Get behind a good sheriff. You want to talk about power and influence? Run for your local school board and tell the people in your community that you're going to get rid of all of the nonsense in the schools that everyone is sick of. Yeah. So, and by the way, if anyone wants to join right now, I'm sorry, you literally can't join the homeschool community right now. But I believe we'll have that issue ironed out in the next 24 hours, 24 to 48 hours, and then people could join again. Never a dull moment. So, but either way, we're working it out. And if the people that I'm dealing with don't do the right thing, like I said, I literally, because of the connections I've made, will have new systems built out in the next week, and it'll make us a lot stronger. So, yeah, someone joined through, I guess, I don't know. I actually want to inbox them. They said they joined through a link, a private link that someone sent them, which is cool. But in terms of, like, if you go to Homeschool Connected through classicallearner.com, you literally can't even join right now. And it's been that way for about 48 hours now, something like that. 36, 48 hours it's been where no one's been able to join. And that will still be the case probably for the next 48 hours. Literally, like, anyway, so we're working that out, and it is what it is. You know, my whole thing was, all right, I'm going to research how to take away leverage from this type of thing happening. And because of that, we've made some really good connections here. And my other thing is that I'm just going to crush. So, you know what? The forces that be could do that, and they could give us this bump in the road, but they can't stop me from crushing. And, like, the cell phone STEM challenge that I put out today is one of my favorite lessons that I've ever put out. And I worked on that last night from about 8 a.m. I actually finished that pretty quick. I worked on that from about 8 p.m. to about 12:45 a.m. So it was actually rather quick. I put that together. And so 4 hours and 45 minutes it took me to put that together. And then I had to proofread it and all that this morning and post it. But, you know, my whole thing is when I face adversity, I'm just going to double down and crush even harder. And, you know, I've faced all types of adversity. I've had multiple accounts with, you know, 80,000 plus people. Allegedly, that's all. You know, because even that wasn't accurate. Because it was really a lot more than that. Completely gone overnight. And you know what? When you face adversity, you just crush harder. And that's life. And life is going to hit you. And just as I always tell my son, why do we fall? We fall so we can learn to get back up. I always say, every time he falls, I say, Brady gets knocked down, but he always gets back up. Aubrey gets knocked down, but she always gets back up. Well, Daddy gets knocked down, but I always get back up. And when someone comes at me, if you come at me hard, I'm going to come at you 100 times harder. I'm going to grind 100 times harder, because when there is a will, there is a way. I don't like believe in this new age and manifest type of stuff, but I believe there's truth in that. I believe you can manifest your reality, because when you align your reality with the purpose that God sets forth for you, God will only allow you to face the adversity that will set you on the path that He wants you to walk. And you will say, why doesn't God just put you on that path without the adversity? Because God is the greatest teacher in the world. And what God shows you is, or what God does, is He allows you to learn through trials and tribulations. He allows you to learn through adversity because it is the greatest teacher, because iron sharpens iron. So God will put me in a path. He will put challenges in front of me, and He will say, Brett, you know your purpose. You know why you are here. So overcome those challenges. And then, for whatever reason I have to overcome these challenges now, I will be so much stronger later on. And later on, when the real challenges come, then I'll understand. That is why God put me on this path. That is why God put that adversity in front of me. Because He was trying to sharpen me like iron. Because God understood that I had to be strong to carry out whatever purpose I am here for. And I believe I know what that purpose is. And maybe what I believe is wrong. But I know that as long as I'm following what I believe to be the purpose that God gave me, then He will continue to guide me to make me stronger to be where I'm supposed to be. And no amount of adversity, no amount of gravel, no amount of anything can stop me from pursuing that purpose. And that will make us very, very strong in the long run. And we do not co-parent with the government. When we filled out our birth certificate, we gave our children to Uncle Sam. I mean, that's partially true, but I don't agree with that. And I think that never allow yourself to take a victim mentality, right? And that, so what? That's something that happened. You signed a birth certificate. Okay. But have you learned your rights since then? Have you studied them? Have you taken the time and learned how to operate within the system? Because all a birth certificate is a trust. But I know people who operate inside and outside of that trust. I know people that know how to use the court system as a hammer because it's just a tool. Now, the powers that be understand that tool better than the average citizen, so they hammer the average citizen with it. Even the word citizen, right? But you can learn to use that hammer, and then you can strike the nail with the hammer. So there's no victim mentality. You just have to learn your rights. Go to crow777radio.com, CRROW777radio.com, and start binge watching, take notes, study, and you can learn to do these things. I know people who really do the sovereign thing, okay? I don't try to do it yet. It's not what I'm supposed to be doing right now. Maybe at one point in my life it is. I only have so much time, so much attention, so much effort, but there's no reason that you can't do that. You are only a victim when you accept that you are a victim. We have all been victimized. Every person in this world has been victimized, but make no mistake, I am not a victim. So what? Something bad happened to you. Look at what I've been talking about today. So what? A birth certificate. So what? Something bad happened to your ancestor. So what? That someone did something unfair to you. I do not accept a victim mentality, therefore I am not a victim. Everyone faces adversity. Michael Jordan missed more game-winning shot attempts than he made. No one remembers those. Mentality. Everything. I'm being a little aggressive today, but I've had a tumultuous 24 hours, so I could be a little aggressive. But I will not tolerate a victim mentality from my people. Ever. No matter what happens to us, I will never accept a victim mentality from our people. I am passionate, Foster Bear. I am. I believe in what I do. I believe in my purpose. I know why I'm here. And I'm a follower of Christ, and it's my job to spread the message of Christ. And Jesus will never look at you and say, I don't like to say if Jesus were here. Jesus is here. You are walking in the shadow of Christ. And the man who cast that shadow would never allow you to be a victim. When they were nailing him to a cross, he didn't say, but they're trying to hurt me. He said, forgive them, Father. They know not what they do. We should all be passionate about the path. Like people like they lack perspective. You know, they're like, it must be nice. It must be nice that he has this or he has that. Okay, all right, if I give you $10 million under the agreement that your life ends tomorrow, do you take it? No. Why not? So you just told me that your breath is worth more. In fact, let's up that number. If I give you $1 billion, your life ends tomorrow, do you take it? No. So you just agreed that your breath is worth more than $1 billion and you're complaining about what everyone else has? You get these people in America who are like, oh my God, look at all these others. They have so much more privilege than me. Oh my God, they're so privileged. You live in the United States of America. The dollar is literally the gold standard of the, I mean, it's not on the gold standard, but it's literally the reserve currency of the entire world. You are in the 1% of people in the entire world just by being born in America, and you're complaining that other people are more privileged than you and you don't have enough? No, you're pathetic. You're a mindset. It's like a computer virus in your mind. What are you talking about? You're a victim. Poor people in America weigh 300 pounds. Go look at a poor person in another country and you'll see what real poverty is. And you're complaining about, oh my God, Johnny down the block has more privilege than me. Oh my God, it must be nice. Pathetic. You have no idea how privileged you are. That's why people are like, Brett, what do you think about the whole privilege narrative? Yeah, of course I'm privileged. Of course I'm privileged. I'm in the United States of America. I grew up with two parents who absolutely loved each other, who loved us, who went out of their way to make sure that we always were taken care of, that we had food on our table. Of course I'm privileged. So are you. Get over yourself. Anyone, I grew up in Long Island, and some of the people I grew up with had more money than you could ever imagine. I grew up in a middle-class family let me correct. I grew up in a lower middle-class family on Long Island. My father put my mother through 7 years of school, starting when I was about 7 years old. My mother graduated from school at the top of her class, and by the time I was 18 years old, actually started doing very well and became the head of a company. Not like a multi-million-dollar situation, but she started doing very well. So I grew up lower middle class, and by the time I graduated high school, I was upper middle class. Because by the time I graduated high school, my dad had his job working that he has always worked since he had been 18 years old, and now my mom was successful working as not the head of a company, but basically like a director of a company. Again, not making millions of dollars, but upper middle class. So I grew up lower middle class, and by the time from like 14 to 18, we became upper middle class. And yeah, I'm very privileged for that. But because I grew up where I grew up with people who literally, like, you can't fathom how much money these people have. And by the way, I grew up in an interesting area because in our same school district, I grew up with people who literally lived in the Redfern projects. Like, my best friends growing up were if you walk down the street, you would literally cross the street if you saw them. Well, you'd see them and you'd cross the street and probably start walking in the other direction. Like my friends growing up are thugs, like from Redfern, Long Island. You could look that up, like projects, like real thugs, like the type all the gangster rappers pretend to be. Like a lot of those people were my really good friends growing up. Many of which are in jail now, by the way. Which I made good thing I made good decisions and I distanced myself from those people. Like armed robbery, like real serious stuff. So I grew up in a very diverse area, right? And to them, yeah, Brett was very privileged. That's why I know I'm privileged. Like my good buddy Mo, like he grew up in Redfern with a single mother and like literally not a pot to piss in. And there I am with my middle class family with my two parents and like yeah, I have privilege. But I had other friends who lived who went to the same school district with me who I can't stress to you enough. You can't even fathom how much money these people had. Right? So it's like I could look at them and be like, "Oh my God, must be nice. You're so privileged." Why? Everyone's privileged. By the way, those people could look at Rockefeller and be like, "Must be nice. He's so privileged," right? And my buddy Mo from Redfern, he could look at me and be like, "Must be nice. You're so privileged." Well, what about that guy in Africa, right? You don't think he'd like to live in Redfern? So victim mentality is nonsense. Privilege narrative is nonsense. These are mind viruses. This is what the system is trying to put into your mind to turn you into a victim so they could control you. And that's the truth. I don't keep up with the Joneses. That's right. That's another trick. It's just another way to destroy you, to control you. As soon as you stop keeping up with the Joneses and you start just living a good life, you'll find that wow, I'm more wealthy than all the people that keep up with the Joneses. Like you can literally get an RV and just live in an RV at very little cost of living, and all of a sudden you'll be like, wow, look how much freedom I have. I don't have all these bills tying me down. I don't have wow, look how wealthy I am. You know what the rich dad, poor dad definition of wealth is? And Robert Kiyosaki, say what you want about him, but he's a brilliant man. You achieve wealth when, and again, I don't even agree with this because I think family is wealth, but just from a monetary perspective, when your expenses and your income are, when your passive income matches your expenses. So what Kiyosaki says is, if you have $1 million coming in a year that you don't even have to work for, but you have $2 million of bills, you're not wealthy. But if you have $1 million of passive income coming in and your bills are $1 million, you're wealthy because you don't have to work anymore. Well, if you have $20,000 of passive income and $20,000 of bills, you only make $20,000 and you're wealthy because you don't have to work to pay your bills, right? So like this whole keeping up with the Joneses narrative is like live within your means and you can live a very good life. And by the way, family is your real wealth. Having children is your real wealth. Like people talk about, oh my God, like women have to work a career. You have to go work a career because you want that investment, yo. You want that money. How about you invest in a child, you educate them right, and then when you get older in your retirement years, they will literally work their butts off to make sure that you're okay. I will never let my parents go in a nursing home. And if my mother and father came up to me tomorrow and said that, hey, Brett, we don't have any money and we can't work anymore, or we don't want to work anymore, I would literally take them into my house and I would work my butt off to make sure that they could sit around all day, if that's what my parents told me they needed to do. Family is wealth. Invest in your children and they will invest in you. That is wealth. My parents came up to me tomorrow and said, we can't work, don't have any money, and we don't want to work another day in our lives. I would say, well, come on in, grab a seat, and don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. Because family is wealth. Yeah, you could join at classicallearner.com, and it's Homeschools Connected, although you literally can't join today. So, again, I'm dealing with some tech stuff at the moment. So we should have that. You should be able to join within definitely later this week and within 48 hours. So, yep, Bertaria Times crushes. How can I homeschool from an RV? You're talking to the right person. I'm not talking about me, Melissa. I mean, Melissa has been homeschooling from an RV for... How long have you been homeschooling from an RV, Melissa? Many years. I'm wealthy. I have a soccer team. You are wealthy. Yes, you are. And Mrs. Classical Learner, you too will have a soccer team soon. You tell me when, Mrs. Classical Learner. Because I'm ready for number 3. I am ready. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to call it on that. www.classicallearner.com. Homeschools Connected. You can use the discount code FREEDOM any other day of my life except yesterday, today, and probably tomorrow. And you could join for $10 a month. And as the members of our community will tell you, we have an absolutely incredible community. And quite frankly, I don't know why anyone wouldn't want me on their side for raising and educating their children. So if you don't want that, don't get it. But all right. Like, what's your sales pitch? My sales pitch is, why wouldn't you want me on your team? Like, come on. Anyway. I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. Dropping Jay-Z lines. By the way, I don't support Jay-Z, and I don't think you should listen to that music. But I did grow up listening to that stuff, so it's kind of, like, I loved that stuff growing up and, like, even into my adulthood before I realized how bad it was. So it's like, it's kind of just, engraved in my mind. Not a businessman, I'm a businessman. Do you have a kindergarten curriculum or lesson plan? Yes. Our nature unit study is phenomenal for kindergarten. And then we also do a bunch of STEM, science experiments, which are really cool. We have math stuff, letter identification, learning your letters, the sounds. So we do a lot of stuff like that is appropriate for young children, and you'll absolutely love it. So anyway, like I said, you can't even join today. I'm dealing with some tech stuff, but I should have everything operational again within, 48 hours. So www. I'm sick of the propaganda. Do you address that? Have you seen my books? So I'm the author of the Cubs to Bears children book series, which is books on the Second Amendment, free speech, the the history of fake news, the history of the Federal Reserve and the banking system. It's literally all about propaganda, and I even teach a course which all members of Homeschools Connected have access to, and that course is designed to teach children to identify propaganda using the Cubs to Bears children book series. So, and literally, like, you'll see, everything I do is I embed that stuff into it because I'm very serious about propaganda. What about gardening? Yeah, so we have a year-long nature unit study. And in the unit study, the children, they literally plant their own seeds, build their own garden boxes, make their own greenhouses. They do composting. They make at-home fertilizer. They learn about photosynthesis. They learn about soil biology, how to take care of their soil, leaf identification to determine what's going on with your plant. So all that type of stuff we do, a lot of hands-on learning. So yeah, I mean, that's right up our wheelhouse with what we do. So www.classicallearner. Yes, we have STEM projects. Like I said, today my STEM project was to make your own cell phone stand. And it's ironic because look, I'm literally holding cell phone stands right now because I'm on vacation, and anyway, this isn't my best setup. So classicallearner.com, Homeschools Connected. Freedom isn't free. We have to earn it every day. You could join by using the discount code FREEDOM, allegedly any other day but today. And I thought that was you. All right. Any other day but today. And so I'll be back. I don't know if I'll be back tomorrow because I think we might travel tomorrow morning. Probably going to travel tomorrow morning. And then I don't know if I'm going to go straight to Carolina or if I'm going to stay one day in Georgia just to break up the trip. Because it's an 8-hour drive. So if we stay in Georgia for one night, 4-hour drive's not so bad. You're crushing, Brett. We read Good Bears Always Tell the Truth at dinner last night. I love it. Everyone's getting it. You don't have to worry about that if you file your paperwork right, because there's nothing illegal about homeschooling. So just file your paperwork right and keep good records, and it doesn't really matter. You know, it's no different than anyone else. It's like, what if you called it on them? Like, you know, you're not doing anything illegal. So if you need the regulations, go to HSL. So then you're not doing anything illegal. So go to hslda.org. You can find the regulations in the state that you live, and then just keep proper records. And yeah, it's, you know, it's like, what if someone calls the cops on you? It's like, what if someone calls the cops on you? It's like, I don't know. Are you doing anything illegal? They'll probably just show up at your house, and you'll be like, why are you here? And they'll be like, someone called. And you'll be like, and? I'm sitting at my sister's house doing a live stream. Why are you talking to me? And they'll be like, oh, sorry, sir. Yeah, all right. So, I mean, anyone could do that, right? You can do that to them if you wanted to, right? You know, these are all just government agencies. Like, people live in such fear of them, but, you know, do stuff by the books, and there's really nothing they could do to you. Like, I worked as in a field where I was a mandatory reporter, and like, I saw some families were like literally horrific, like inter-project families where the mother, every time you would talk to her, was clearly just completely ripped on drugs. Like, she would not even remember the conversations we had, and there was no one else in the home. Like, real bad stuff. And like, I got referred to these cases when that agency was already working with the family. So like, and they didn't take the kid out of the home. So like, you know, people have a fear because they hear horror stories, but dot your I's, cross your T's, and just, you know, do stuff legally, and you really don't have anything to worry about. So there's a lot of fear pouring with that. So, all right, classicallearner.com. If I don't get Nicole some food, she's probably going to attack me. So, classicallearner.com. Let's get Nicole some food. Let's encourage her for baby number 3 because we need more little classical learners in this world. And, you know, Nicole just crushes. She crushes. She's the greatest. She is. I really am so blessed that I have my wife. And there's no one I'd rather face adversity with. So, classicallearner.com. We crush every day. Get me on your team. If you don't join, what are you thinking? I literally don't know why you wouldn't want me. Why wouldn't you want me helping you? All right, so anyway. With that said, I will call it a day. I will now count to 10 and pretend to drink from a straw no, you literally can't join today. I'm dealing with some tech stuff, so you could join later this week. So www.classicallearner.com. Tell your friends about me. I'm now going to pretend for the next 10 seconds. Oh, this straw that I'm drinking from is very delicious, and it is dedicated to Melissa. Oh, I like drinking from this fake straw. Yep. Yuppery yuppie-yo, people. I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman.